right, so a little bit about me. So for those of you that don't know, my background is in corporate marketing. So I was in corporate marketing for 12 years and I managed teams, marketing teams. And so my job at the time was pretty stressful and demanding, but part of that was my own boundary issues. So I had suffered from a lot of stress-related health issues and just wanted to make some major changes in my own life. So at the end of 2019, that's when I began this journey to become a meditation and yoga teacher. So, and then I have dealt with a lot of the challenges on the physical side of having long-term stress, but I've had many family members and friends who've dealt with more of like the severe side of mental health challenges. And so my passion is in getting ahead of it, of those issues, and trying to help people with different techniques before they get to some of those bigger mental health challenges. Okay, and so I like to start with definitions. So what is meditation? So meditation is basically just observational focus of attention. That is, at the simplest definitions, what it is. And so today I wanted to talk about the topic of self-love. I shared this statistic earlier on my social media, but I saw that 85% of people have low self-esteem, which I was shocked to even see that number when I was researching and getting prepared for this. So I am hoping to help people. That is a huge number with incorporating self-love practices. And so I also wanted to cover what the definition of self-love is. So the Oxford definition of self-love is regard for one's own well-being and happiness. So I did want to add a little bit on the happiness point, that happiness is not always a constant in your life. So it's just kind of like sadness. Happiness can fluctuate. And I think the more that you understand that, the better that you will be in understanding that it's a give and take, a fluctuation, that you shouldn't expect to be happy all the time. And so I think a lot of our disappointments come from our expectations. So if you expect that, things are going to be fluid in life and that sometimes you're going to have happy moments and sometimes you're going to have sad moments, that it will help you deal a little bit better. And so why is self-love important? So I came across this quote that I loved, and it says, to say I love you, one must first know how to say the I. So you have to be able to say I first before you can love someone else. And so that quote is from Ayn Rand. And just like you learn on a plane, so that they always tell you to put your oxygen mask on first. And so you have to take care of yourself before you can take care of other people. And this also goes hand in hand with people pleasing. So I don't know about everyone else, but I have had challenges myself in the past on what some call a disease to please other people. So you can engage in self-abandonment by putting people before you all the time. And I was just listening to a podcast this morning, and there was an author, his name is Donald Miller, and he was talking about that you can't choose being liked over being respected. So sometimes we want everybody to like us, and so we're kind of morphing and doing all these different things for people to like us. And really you need people to respect you. And so the more comfortable you are with yourself, the more naturally polarizing you're going to be, because you're not morphing yourself to fit the needs of other people. And so you'll have to be comfortable with the fact that everybody may not like you. And so, believe it or not, there are people who don't like Oprah, one of my favorite people. And you have to also know that there's just things about yourself that won't be perfect. So, but you can't let that stop you from doing the things that you need to do in life, because Oprah, she's been, very public about her struggles with weight and all of that, and, being an ambassador for Weight Watchers and all of that. But she didn't wait until she had all of that fixed and sorted out before, she went on to do some great things. So, we're sometimes our biggest critic, but just know that, we just need to come back to having that love for ourselves as the amazing person that we are right now, if nothing else about us has changed. And so I'm going to jump in now into the SOULESTA soul meditation method that I introduced yesterday, but we are going to change it up a little bit today to fit the topic of self-love today. So the S is for sense, and so these are just different grounding techniques that might change each time to be able to ground yourself using your senses. And so we'll also incorporate some breathing exercises. So when you focus on your breath, so this signals to the body that you are safe enough to be present. And so we're going to do the self-love meditation, but I wanted to use the 5 love languages. So, which most people, I believe, have heard of this book by Gary Chapman. It's a pretty popular book. And so, does anyone know what their love language is? Let's share. Words of affirmation, physical touch. Okay. Quality time. Okay, so the 5 are physical touch, acts of service, quality time, words of affirmation, and gifts. So this book is basically talking about, 5 love languages and kind of how you show love to others. Oh, sorry, let me see the chat. Oh, okay. Quality time. Great. Mine is actually acts of service. So, but I actually like to give gifts to people. I like to give really thoughtful gifts to people. So people assume that mine is gifts, that's the way that I like to receive love. So it's really important that you, like when interacting with others, that you find out what theirs is, because sometimes you want to try to meet other people's needs in the way that you want and not in the way that they want. And so, so I'm just going to go through each one, and this will be the meditation that I'm going to take you all through, going through the 5 love languages and how you can use this for loving yourself. So I'm just going to say that if you can, find a point of connection, which this time I'm going to say hand on the heart. And it is up to you whether you want to close your eyes or not, or if you can, don't have to, or lower your eyes if you prefer that. And so the first is on physical touch. And so starting with saying to yourself, I show love to myself by taking care of my body. So take a deep breath in and take a deep breath out. And as you're exhaling, think of what you're taking in through your senses. What are the things that you're watching? What are the things that you're listening to? All of those things affect your body. And so next is acts of service. So I show love to myself by prioritizing doing the things for my own happiness and comfort. And I added here, without guilt, because sometimes we feel guilty for the things that that we want for ourselves. And so take your deep breath in and take a deep breath out. And as you are exhaling, think of all the things that bring you joy. And they don't have to bring anyone else joy, just things that bring you joy. Because if they bring you joy, that's enough, because we're all different and we all have different needs and wants and desires. And next is quality time. So I show love to myself by spending quality time alone with me, myself, and I. So Beyonce had a whole song about this, me, myself, and I. So you can be your own best friend, okay? So take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And as you're exhaling, think of how you're spending your time and how you can get more quality time in with yourself, whether that is reflecting, journaling, whatever those things are that bring you comfort. And then next is words of affirmation. So I show love to myself by saying kind words about myself. And so sometimes we are our own toughest critic, as I mentioned earlier. So take your next deep breath in and then breathe out. And as you exhale, think of what you can say to yourself to encourage yourself in downtime, and how you can tell yourself that you're proud of yourself in the good times, because sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit for when we do things that are great. And then lastly, our gifts. So I show love to myself by being generous with the things that I want and desire. And again, I'm going to add, without guilt. So take your deep breath in and take a deep breath out. And as you're exhaling, think of all the things, all the gifts that you want to give to yourself. Sometimes it is the gift of experiences. It's the gift of traveling. What are those things that you want to do for yourself that would make your life richer? So I want you to now bring yourself back into the present moment. I hope you enjoyed that quick meditation around the 5 love languages. So another way that you can tap into your senses, one of the things I mentioned yesterday was by doing a body scan, but you can modify it a little bit to focus more on having love and compassion for your body. And instead of thinking about, as you're scanning your body, all the things that you don't like about your body, send love and compassion and appreciation for the things that your body can do and is able to do, and how it supports you just through everyday life. And so, and sometimes if I'm going through something, because life happens, there are disappointments, people hurt our feelings, things don't go our way. Sometimes I will just literally put my hand over my heart and just try to imagine that I am sending love to my own heart and sending love to myself, and just taking a minute to just sit and be with my thoughts and feelings and to acknowledge my thoughts and feelings. And so that transitions into O, which is for observe. So this is just for observing those thoughts and feelings that come up. I just see you there. Observing those thoughts and feelings that come up, and most importantly, to observe them without judgment, because they are just information. So if you have hurt feelings or anything that is coming up, just explore those and just observe what those feelings are. So if you're having any negative feelings or thoughts of unworthiness, one great thing to do is pay attention to whose voice it is that's coming through. And if it's not your own voice, if it's a voice of someone else, just be sure to show yourself compassion and let those other things go. So, and just keep in mind that the soul of you is the observer, and you are not all of those negative thoughts and things that come up. And then next, use facts and affirmations. So we went through words of affirmations earlier, but no matter what people may think, what do you know to be true about yourself? So when things come up, you can affirm to yourself, I love and accept myself. And I use this myself all the time. Like if something happens, we're human, you make a mistake, say to yourself, I love and accept myself. That's it. You know better, you do better. You do better next time, whatever the situation is. And then lastly, the L is for love and let go. So this is for not only loving yourself, but also loving others. And so knowing that we're all basically just having our human experiences and working through, our own issues. So sometimes it doesn't even have anything to do with us. Some of the challenges that we have, that we're just working through them. And sometimes we didn't get grace from our parents or our caretakers when we made mistakes when we were little. So we're really harsh on ourselves as adults, and don't give that grace to ourselves. So really focus on being easier on yourself and giving yourself that love and compassion and a little bit of grace when things don't go right. And then also practicing non-attachment. So being connected to everything, but not attached to all the outcomes. So just having that acceptance and being at peace with what is. And that part of the human experience is going to be having these challenges, but yes, grace is a big thing for all of us. And then focusing on the present moment. So I mentioned this book yesterday by Eckhart Tolle, A New Earth. It is an amazing book, and it will help you focus on presence and not be thinking about having your mind spiral in all these different other places, and to focus on the now. And how can you come back to the love and loving yourself in the now? Because all of the negative things don't serve you at all. And so that's the other part of the L, is just letting go. And just focusing on the things that you can control, which is only your perspective and how you behave and how you handle things and how you treat yourself. And I'll give another example, because I have examples for days about things in my life. But even with setting boundaries is a form of self-love and taking care of yourself and self-respect. Because when I worked in corporate, people would tell me, when I worked all these crazy hours and did all of these things, that someone said to me, other people are not going to respect you or your time if you don't. So everything actually starts with you and how you carry yourself and how you think about yourself. And it starts with that love and care that you have for yourself. And so I'll touch a little bit on my daily routine, because I had to shift my own daily routine to prioritize myself and put myself first. I mentioned this yesterday, and Gabby, who's on the Zoom, had also said she does this too, that she doesn't look at doesn't look at her phone the same way that I don't before taking care of yourself first. So what I started doing is, because you can get a phone notification and somebody sends you a message and it can just change like the whole course of your day. And so I decided that I wouldn't engage in any phone calls or checking missed calls or checking emails or checking any text messages before I eat breakfast, because at least I need to make sure that I have nourished myself for the day before I start jumping into other people's projects. And that has actually helped me with my sleep, because I used to have a lot of anxiousness when I went to bed, because I'd be thinking about what am I going to see, like when I check my emails in the morning and what's going to be going on. And I would wake up with my heart pumping and all of that, because I'm like, I got to check and see what's going on next and all of that. And so now I start my mornings from a much more peaceful place. So I do my rising stretches when I get up, and I have an affirmation that's actually on my wall. It's like art in my bedroom that starts the day out, and it's basically like, and I don't have all the words in front of me, but it says today is a new day, and basically make it count, because you're exchanging a day of your life for today. So I remind myself that every day, so every day is a gift. And so I want to start it in the most peaceful way possible. And then if I'm home, I try to take my lunch breaks to listen to nature sounds, and just to kind of have that break in the middle of the day, to really take care of myself, because I can get, wound up in trying to, take care of all my projects and be there for everyone else. And, sometimes you can go like right through lunch. So I have that as like something that I look forward to during lunch. And so I go into my Zen den and I put on my nature sounds and listen to my nature music. And I do that during lunchtime. And then in the middle of the day, or sorry, towards the end of my work day, I started doing these sunset walking meditations. And so that was helping me to transition from daytime to evening time. And so my work mode into home mode, because the lines can blur and they can cross together. And so that kind of helped me with having that break towards the end of the day. And then in the evening, when I'm getting ready for bed, I do my shower meditations. And so that helps me decompress from the day and helps me sleep, because I can, get all my thoughts out from the day in the shower. And so I'm not thinking about them when I go to bed at night. And I know I also posted something earlier today about whether cleaning is therapeutic, because it's National Clean Your Home Office Day. And so there's a difference between organizing and cleaning. So I love organizing, because I think everything has a home and it has a place of where it needs to go. And so I love organizing things, but actually cleaning things, not my ministry, not my favorite thing to do at all. Oh, you want to hear more about the shower meditation? So yes, so for the shower meditation, I actually have these towels that are in front of my shower, and it says like, wash your worries away. And so when I'm doing the shower meditation, I literally visualize like anything from the day, because just because you're doing yoga and meditation, that doesn't mean everything is going to go perfect in your life and all your problems are solved. No, you're still going to have challenges. So you're still going to have challenging days, but just now you have tools to be able to process and work through them. So I might be in the shower and I'm just like visualizing how the day went. And if there's anything that I literally need to wash away, and just know that I'm not carrying it with me into the evening and into the next day. So literally washing my worries away, and has been super beneficial for me. And so, do you all have any questions or any feedback? Well, I guess that was mainly on the talking more about the shower meditation, but anything else? I know this one was a little bit shorter than yesterday, because anxiety was a big one to cover. But just wanted to do the quick, sorry if you missed but the replay will be available if you missed me going through the 5 love languages meditation at the beginning. So I'll have the replay available on the page.